Afternoon, everybody. My name is Dave Gilbert, and I'm the Managing Director of Pretorian Technologies based in the UK. We've also got my colleague Tim who's lurking in the chat somewhere, so he's going to be answering questions as you ask them, so please feel free to ask them as we go along. We're designers and manufacturers of assistive technology hardware, something that we've been doing for over 20 years. We've got a huge range of products from mouse alternatives to switches, high-tech mid-tech AAC, environmental controls and iPad access like the applicator, which hopefully you're all familiar with. We sell in the US through our master distributor, InclusiveTLC. They're based in North Carolina, and I'll share their details and our own at the end. Today, I want to talk to you about a forthcoming switch product that we're very excited about. Some of you may have seen it at ATIA in Florida in February. It's a proximity switch that's specifically designed for the assistive technology sector, and it's very, very feature rich. It's called Toffee, and it's called that because it uses a technology called time of flight, or TOF, hence the name Toffee. What we didn't realize when we chose that name is that not everybody in the US uses that word. In the UK, toffee is a hard chewable candy. And I know not everybody uses that in America, but hey, that's what we're going to call it anyway. Now, many of you will be familiar with the candy corn switch, which uses a technology that's kind of a bit like touchscreen technology. In fact, it is touchscreen technology, and it requires you to touch or very nearly touch the surface. Toffee is completely different to that. It measures how far away the object is using light. It literally measures the time it takes for light to leave the switch and then be reflected back by the flight. And that gives us the really big ticket feature, which is it's got a choice of proximal range anywhere from 1 inch through to 20 inches. It's completely insensitive to the surface that you put in its path. Skin color is irrelevant. It can work with textiles, areas of the body covered by hair, even prosthetics. Ambient light levels are completely irrelevant since it has its own light source. That's quite enough PowerPoint for one day. So I'm going to switch to my other camera at this point, and then I can actually show you the product. Okay, so here it is. It's quite small, as you can see. It's 2-inch diameter, quite low profile. As with any other switch, it's got an 1/8-inch jack at the end, so you can treat it like any other switch. That's the sensing area. The black area in the middle is the sensor. It's got a few LEDs around the outside of that, which I'll explain to you in a little while. It's got a display and a button at the back to help set it up. And it's got a USB-C socket there so that you can charge its internal battery. Battery will last about 45 hours of constant use. It doesn't use anything while it's actually asleep. So that's what it looks like. What I'm going to do is, just to demonstrate it, I'm going to plug it into this iClick, which again, it's one of our products. Hopefully you're all familiar with it. It's a mains appliance controller. Literally all I have to do is plug it in. And if I put my hand in the path, then the light comes on. Okay, it's as simple as that. And there are really two modes of operation that most people would use, I suppose, with a Toffee switch. One is kind of a pass-through like that. And the other one is like a top-down. So if I lower my hand into the zone, and there you are, it's set to 6 inches at the moment. And notice that I can actually back away slightly before it turns off. Okay, there you go. I can back away, and only then does it turn off. That's kind of important because that means that it won't jitter if you're very close to its detecting threshold. But notice that it will work at any distance from the setting, 6 inches in this case, down to 0. There you go. Okay. Now, there is another mode of operation which is really quite important, and that is that if I if I put my finger into the light path, you see it's really very, very repeatable. And I'm only moving my finger about 1/8 of an inch, and I've got complete and completely consistent control of the lamp, which means that it's great for people with ALS or other kind of motor skills issues. So I've shown it to you at a 6-inch range, but just to also demonstrate, before I move on, other surfaces that I could use. I've used my hand so far. I'm now going to just use a white cloth. So, an arm covered in clothing, for example, that can work perfectly fine. That's a white cloth. A dark grey cloth, just the same. Makes absolutely no difference what the colour is. And I've also got here a poster just to kind of to just amplify what I mean. It's different colours both sides, and that's the brown side, that's the white side. Again, it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. Okay, so I've mentioned the range so far. We've got it set to 6 inches. It's variable there are 10 settings. It can go anywhere from 1 inch through to 20 inches. If I set it to 1 inch, I'm going to do that right now. I do it using a display at the back. I'm going to set it to 0, which is the minimum range. And if I bring it a little bit closer to the camera, then you'll see that I have to get really quite close now, 1 inch, for it to activate. Whereas if I go to the opposite extreme and set it to 20 inches, then and I'm going to come top down in this case. You see, I'm off camera actually. That's 20 inches away, but note that it works all the way down to 0. And that's important too, because it means that if you've got a user that's got very poor motor skills and they haven't got fine movement control, it doesn't matter. They can just go through the beam, and it almost doesn't matter where you do it or how you do it. It's going to work. So quite an important point. Now, at the moment, I've got it set to direct or momentary output. So the lamp comes on for as long as I've got my hand in the beam. But that might not always be what you want, depending on the device you're trying to control. In this case, I'm using it for environmental control, a lamp. So I probably don't want it in momentary mode. I want it in latching mode. Now, of course, iClick can do that, but rather than do it there, I'm going to do it on the switch itself. So I'm just going to change it to latching, and I should probably also change it back to a more sensible range as well while I do it. Okay, so now once for on, and again for off, on and off. So there's your latching feature. If you're using it for computer control rather than for environmental control, then you might want it to do some different things. You might, for example, want it to give you a short tap. And not everybody can do a short tap. Some people have laboured movements, and they'll tend to keep their hand in the beam for longer than they really should to give you a tap. Now, we can overcome that because it's got a one-shot mode. And I'm going to set it to that right now. It kind of doesn't really work that well with a lamp, but hey, it doesn't matter. You'll get the point. Because now, if I hold my hand in there, you'll see you just get a very quick blip. And so if this were connected to something like a Bluetooth switch or directly into to a computer to give you left click, then it's going to give you exactly that. No matter how long you hold your hand in the beam, it's just going to give you a short blast. Yeah. Equally, if it is connected to a PC, you might want to make it be a double click. And I can do that as well. Again, completely inappropriate for a lamp, but it's easy to demonstrate that way. So now, if I hold my hand in there, it gives me 2 short blasts, so a double click. Great for computer use. Okay. So another factor that is kind of important is that people tend to make 2 passes through the beam when they don't necessarily intend to. They tend to go through and then back again. Now, the through was intentional, the back again, less so. So it sometimes perhaps nice to be able to filter out that second unintentional operation, and you can certainly do that. And I'm going to do it right now, it's yeah, let's just set it up. It's called ignore repeats. Okay, so I'm going to do the same again, through and back, but you'll see it ignores the back. There you go. So that inadvertent one is now filtered out. Okay, and it does it just by ignoring the switch for a short period of time, and you can set how short that period is. And I don't know how easily you can see on the camera there, but there is actually a red LED that comes on during that period. It's just short flash to show you when you're kind of locked out, and then when it goes off, then you're free to activate it again. It's quite useful in all sorts of circumstances. Now, it's got feedback. It needs feedback without a kind of the auditory clicks and so on that you get with a mechanical switch. It's got the green LED that comes on whenever it's activated. I'll put it close so you can see. There you go. There'll be several of those on the final version, it's also got an audible feedback, which you probably can't hear, but it sounds just like a conventional switch. Or you can have neither, or you can have both. Your choice. The lithium-ion battery, as I've said before, that'll give you 45 hours of use between charges. That's actual use. When it's asleep, then it's effectively using nothing. It automatically goes to sleep after 30 seconds of non-use, but that can be overridden. And you might want to do that, actually, because it can be quite inconvenient for certain users to have to wake it up if they haven't used it for half an hour. So you can stop it going to sleep, but then of course it's using the battery more quickly. So we really only recommend you do that if you're plugged permanently into the USB power via the USB socket. But the choice is yours. Okay. Another thing it also has is manual power down, which is actually really important, because the last thing you want, if you're going to package this thing away, put it in the trunk of your car and transport it from place to place, is it chattering away whilst you're driving along. So you can manually put it to sleep. Okay. This is a prototype, as I said before. It's more or less as it will be in the end. You'll have a choice of colours, by the way. We'll ship it with all 4 red, yellow, green and blue labels. You fit whichever one you want. The only other real change that you'll notice is the wire. At the moment, this is a flat wire, and we don't like it because the tail tends to wag the dog. As you can see, it tends to want to twist. So we're going to be replacing that with a round one, so that won't happen. But otherwise, it's going to look pretty much as it does right now. Availability is going to be in September. I think pretty much got it covered. So back to you, David.
Thank you, Dave. That was awesome. A nice new switch.